Hello, today my guest is Lance. He is the founder of Brave New Love in Austin, Texas. Thank you, Lance, for joining me today, and please introduce yourself and the company.
Awesome. Thanks, Jared. Thanks for having me. Yes. So my name's Lance Pyburn. I live in Austin, Texas. My company is Brave New Love, Brave New Love Massage and Bodywork. We're an event-based massage and bodywork company and work for and with distance events, running, cycling, triathlons, and then other event-based engagements for massage, such as like corporate conferences, private wellness retreats, those kind of things. We also have a studio in South Austin and offer mobile, as well as facilitation services with a somatic coaching like component for virtual. So we do a handful of things. We've been around since 2019. And we're having a great year so far in 2025, and very much looking forward to some of the things we've got coming in the coming weeks and months.
Oh, perfect. It's always quite a journey starting a business and
Yeah.
growing it.
Yeah, for sure. Starting a business is hard in general. Starting a massage business the year before a global pandemic is also pretty hard. So it's definitely been like rocky along the way, but we've evolved and done different things at different times depending on what was needed for the company and for um, health and growth.
Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, you opened at probably the worst time.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, I mean, I basically got my license in the fall of 2019, so I wasn't really fully working on people until the beginnings of 2020. And I remember the Friday I was doing mobile client. I was supposed to work on a wife, and then her husband was coming home from work and was going to work on him as well. But when he came home, and it was like a Friday the 13th or something. I mean, or something. I remember it exactly. It was very wild how concerned he was, and then like it was one of those things where the news starts like breaking really fast, and you're like, oh no, I need to get out of their house. And then yeah, I went home. We thought it was going to be 2 weeks, and it turned out to be longer.
Yeah, I mean it impacted a lot of businesses very negatively. It's great you were able to survive that because there's businesses that were in business for many years and didn't survive it, right? So
Most
it's
definitely, yeah. And super lucky, obviously, with it being a small business or I'm a proprietorship. I was able to flux a lot of different things in terms of like expenses and like what I don't have a lot of overhead, or I didn't at that time. At that time, I didn't even have a physical space because I was doing mobile massage. So I switched on to virtual. I got my Zoom account. I still have my Zoom business account, as probably many people do from that time, and was doing virtual kind of like workshop facilitation services, which was drawing off of experience that I'd had previous in my career, and did that for like 8 months for a variety of different like companies, tech companies. And that was great. It was like a solid thing. And then that service evolved into what I now have as my somatic coaching. So I can still work with people virtually. It just looks like different than the hands-on massage.
Oh wow. That was just born because of COVID essentially, right? Like it
Yeah.
sounds
Or
like.
like, like one of many things, it's like what actually led to the start of this? Is it really a chicken and an egg, or is it like multiple little things that came together in the right way? So, yeah, that's why I had the Zoom account. That was one. I personally, during that time, was better understanding meditation, what meditation could look like, what my personal meditation practice could look like. And so that led me personally to go through a training series on a practice called interoception. It's a body-based form of meditation. And then, long story short, when we were back hands-on again, I still kept my Zoom account and just continued doing the interoception virtually, which was how I had learned it myself, and then was able to do that with people, even in Austin. I'll just jump on a quick call with somebody versus them having to come to the studio. Um, yeah, and do that way. So that's how I came to be. Thanks,
Wow.
COVID. I don't know if that's
Well,
good or not, but part of it.
yeah, no.
Life
No,
gives you
that's
things like lemons or whatever, and you make lemonade. Whatever.
yeah, it was obviously very uncharted territory for everybody.
Yeah, unprecedented times. We said it so many
Yeah.
times. We read it.
What can you share a bit about your role? I mean,
Oh
obviously
yeah,
you're
in my company. Yeah, so I am founder, owner, lead massage therapist, head marketer. I'm everything basically. I have folks that I work with, but I don't have any employees. I've never had an employee outside of myself. I only contract with people, so 1099s, and that is obviously for the massage therapists or we'll get into it. I have the event-based massage incorporates multiple therapists. It's not just me. I'll sometimes bring a team anywhere between two of us to like 8 to 10, and we'll execute whatever the contract is that we have in place. They are all independent contributors, and then the folks that have helped me with marketing and just a bountiful number of tasks that you don't know about when you start a business that people have helped me with. They've all been like contract work or friends, offering services for just because they believed in what I was doing. And then a few that I've done like massage trades. So we like trade talent in that way. But yeah, my role is lead massage therapist. I have an active book of clients that I see. Like any massage studio, I've got a broader number of people that I may or may not see somewhat infrequently when they decide they want to come in for a bodywork session. I've got what I call my dedicated book. Those are people that are on plans or they're seeing me on a monthly or somewhat of a regular cadence. And they get a little bit more attention. It's a little bit of a separate scenario with them. And then I've got my like somatic coaching clients. I'll sometimes run a series of that, and that looks very seasonal, very specific to an engagement. Um, and that's like my kind of like day to day. And then the event based stuff, we typically run anywhere between 1 to 3 events every week or every weekend. And so that can look like us showing up to a cold plunge event and setting up our services, our activation, our marketing, everything. In that venue, we've done workouts, we've done run clubs, we've done, you name it. We've done employee appreciation, volunteer appreciation, nonprofits. Uh, I always just say if you've got if you've got bodies, we'll work. We'll figure out a way to make it work, depending on the footprint and all those kind of things. So, yeah,
no,
that's my role. That was a long way of describing what I do.
no, yeah, it was, yeah, that's very cool. So what does a typical day look like for you? I mean, do you pretty much see somebody every day or multiple people a
Yeah,
day?
okay, yeah. That's a great question. So I am in my studio doing studio-based hands-on massage work. This is a traditional like massage that you would think of. I do deep tissue, sports massage, and acupressure, myofascial release. That happens on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. Those are the weekdays, and then Sunday. And then I typically take Tuesday as a full day off. Um, and then Mondays, Thursdays, I massage there's a local gym here in Austin called Out Wellness. It's a queer centered gym. It's important for me to support them. So I contract and work there on those days. And then, like I said, the events happen. Anyway, when I'm in the studio, I usually see about 5 to 6 clients. I can be there from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. It can be like basically the full day. And then the events usually Saturday mornings or Sunday mornings, usually weekends, sometimes evenings on like a Thursday night, something like that. Um, but yeah, those are peppered in, and they usually last an hour, 2 hours. They're not that big a deal. They can sometimes, I shouldn't say that. The events themselves are great. They're amazing. They're all different. But in terms of our experience with them, it's very similar to a mobile massage. And for folks that don't know, mobile massage is if you like go to someone's home or business. So that's how that operates. Try to squeeze all my admin work on like Mondays, and then when I said that I take Tuesdays off, I sometimes like do my like computer admin kind of like work in those days. Um,
Okay.
Plus like as we all do, little bits of time throughout the day.
Right. Okay. Yeah. It's very cool. I love cold plunge, by the way. I actually have one in this room.
Oh, do you? Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, what's your philosophy on cold plunge? How long do you go?
Well, I started off with doing 10 minutes, and then I read a
Dang,
lot of things. Yeah. Yeah,
it's long.
I was doing 30, let's see, 38 degrees for 10 minutes. Um
Whoa.
Although then I learned that uh, there's a philosophy or theory that you don't get a lot of benefit or any benefit past 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Yeah.
so then I just started doing 5 minutes, and but yeah, I was doing 10.
Yeah, I get that. That's
So
not an uncommon way to go about it for people. They start really hard. Are you a hardworking, high achieving human? You're like, give me the hard mode
yeah.
from the start. Um, what was I gonna say? I had been, I guess like suggested research what you were saying, but even 3 minutes is what I had heard. That like basically it's like the benefits are negligible. It's not that they're not still there or not still happening. It just kind of plateaus off in terms of the
Right.
spike of what you get. Um, but yeah, I've only done a few of the cold plunges at these cold plunge events. There's not always enough time, but I do love them. We've been doing them since May, and we do almost one every other weekend. And
Oh wow.
they're fantastic. We're actually putting together a community outreach activities correlating with run training in the next few months, and hoping to get some cold plunge there too, as well. So we'll have a brand new love event with some cold plunges soon.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
That's how I explain to people kind of what you said, right? Because it's hard. It's obviously there's a lot of different benefits from cold plunging, and even just inflammation, right, in the body, like
Totally.
muscular inflammation, or maybe you have some sore area or injury. Um, so yeah, that's the part where I definitely am not going to do 10 minutes if I don't need to.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So
10 minutes is a long time for sure. And then you can like control how far down you go. Some people go to the neck, some people only go to like, like their like pecs. It's like kind of changes. I think the most benefit is like you gotta be up here.
so that's what I do. I make sure I get my whole at first what you're saying. I even notice it's a huge difference even just having your hands out.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah, for
it's a lot
sure.
different immersing all of you. So when I see people doing cold plunging and it's up to their above their abdomen, I'm like, no, it's a whole totally different experience getting all the way in, right? Like it is.
Totally.
It's night and
Yeah,
day.
you need to do it.
But
Contrast therapy. It's good stuff.
yeah, I actually have a sauna as well. So yeah,
Oh,
that's
nice. There you go. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, contrast therapy was I was first introduced to it myself in massage. It was like in later massage school, like once I had like been working enough that I was getting like soreness in my forearms, and I put it off for a long time. So I thought, oh my gosh, hot cold water sounds so basic. Doesn't even sound fancy or expensive. Like there's no way it's gonna help. And then I did it the first time when I was in pain, and it like alleviated it all. And I was like, wow, contrast therapy.
Right.
It's the way to go. It's so accessible.
Right. Yes.
You just need to heat
So
up some water and get some ice, and you're fine.
yeah. Yeah, and I don't need to go into a whole lot of detail on that, but I essentially I went through Lyme disease. I ended up having Lyme
Oh
disease,
no.
right? And
Yeah, that's
so
terrible.
that's how I originally got into cold plunging and the infrared sauna. My doctor's like, you need to get an infrared sauna, right? And so, um,
Nice. Yeah.
anyway,
Did it help? No? Yes? Mm.
no, yes, I definitely see benefit of both. I was doing a lot of things. He was having me do a lot. I mean, it was taking up.
Oh,
It was hard to live my life and do all the things the doctor wanted me to do, right? So,
got it. Okay, it was a
um,
lot. Wow.
but so yeah, people ask me, well, how did you heal from Lyme? I'm like, well, I don't know. I threw the kitchen sink at it, right? We were doing so many things. I was doing IVs every week. I was doing just all this stuff.
Mm,
I don't know. I don't know what
yeah, there was so many
maybe. I mean,
things.
yeah, it all helped, to some degree, but I don't know if there was a secret sauce. But
Yeah.
um,
I definitely resonate with that. It's different. It's not as severe as Lyme by far, but even something as simple as like someone's chronic low back pain, they're like,
right.
"Hey, what is it? Like, what's causing this?" And usually, it's hard to pinpoint. In my experience, it's hard to truly pinpoint one. It's like probably a few things that you can identify, but even then, I find myself being like, "Hey, do these restorative mobility things, do these strengthening things, do these stretching things." Like I'm still telling them to do a couple of different activities to treat the issue. Um, so I resonate with that. It's hard when you're like, too many things to do.
Yeah, well, it is, and just like you said with the lower back pain. So we were talking earlier about my shoulder, and
Yeah. Think.
I was kept talking to him. I'm like, do you think it could be from this or from that? And I think I finally figured out what has been causing the problem. And it's a lot of times when I'm working on my couch, because I'll have my laptop and I'm doing work, and I'll kind of lay down and prop myself up with my left arm, right? And I could be like
Okay.
that for
Yeah.
hours, several times
Yeah.
a week. And
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
think I think that's what was causing the shoulder issue. But
For sure,
anyway,
especially if you're holding it like a fully locked elbow, fully outstretched. Maybe you're creating some impingement there in that like joint. That could easily like. I mean, we do stuff. I do stuff like where we sit in a weird way, and then our leg falls asleep, or our arm does weird stuff, and then we're like, "Why did I do that?" But
yeah, yeah. And again, it's like you said. He's like, well, it's probably something you're doing at the gym, and I was like, no, I think it's from this. I think it's from how I'm laying. But
yeah,
anyway, that's
could be neither here nor there, as they say.
yeah. I mean, it's true. I guess I just try to focus on, well, if it is something I'm doing, I want to stop it, right? Like I don't want to keep causing problems,
Yeah,
but
you want to be
um,
aware of behavior based like symptoms that are behavior based in nature that you could change.
right, yes.
Yeah.
What major shifts are you seeing in the industry right now?
Yeah. I like that question from like a high level. In like the current level, I feel like I'm like living in it and it's hard to answer. But in the high level, so like multi-year, I definitely feel like so in-person events are like a very big thing. And experiential activities, I think, are a really big deal. I'm a little biased to this, obviously, because that's what Brave New Love, like, that's what we've shifted into. That's what we've become. And that's partially because of my work and life experience and the opportunities that have been afforded me based off of those things. But what I'm getting at is like marketing, so to speak. Uh, Obviously, there's digital marketing, there's in person, there's like traditional marketing where we're doing like, I don't know, like an ad in newspaper or like like regular that kind of stuff. Or like radio spots. I'm trying to think like what is considered traditional marketing. Uh, and then you've got digital marketing, social media, Facebook, Instagram, all this kind of stuff. Um, and then digital with email. There's so much different things. What I'm saying in terms of like what I'm seeing and what gets activity, what gets ROI, what gets people going from like, oh, I don't know about this brand at all. Now I know about the brand and I'm a paying customer or client. All of that happens and those action points happen at in-person gatherings. So like in-person events. And I think that is, I mean, I feel like anyone could put forth that that's because we were all in our, like, after the pandemic, we had a lot of sheltering in place, a lot of like alone, a lot of isolation, a lot of this. And obviously there's a pendulum swing when you're course correcting, and it's kind of like we're in that uh environment now where we're seeing at least in Austin for sure, a huge burst of events, like just events on events. Like the events have events associated with them. What I'm talking about is like, hey, this big run is coming up. So there's 2 days before there's a shakeout run, and then there's like a post event hangout at the spot. Um, and yeah, that looks like obviously the running community in general is huge, or that is a huge trend in sports-based massage work, knowing that there are way more runners right now. That's going up exponentially than there are like triathletes, for instance. I've got a lot of thoughts on why this is, but running groups are blowing up. And that's fantastic for a lot of reasons. As myself, one as a runner, but then two as a massage therapist that works on runners, I know that that informs how I'm going to change a few things, like my marketing, the types of events that I'm going to be at, the hours. So, like at one point, getting massage therapists for a 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. call time, like that seemed impossible. Like almost a non-starter, and me being like, I can't do the style what I want to do. But then address that issue, got a team of people that are good in the morning. We like maneuvered because runners happen in the morning. Um, whereas I should, I guess, qualify. Traditional non-sport based massage can sometimes be a thing that happens like more 2 p.m. onward to 10 p.m., like a later evening kind of activity for people. Anyway, so it's a huge culture shift. So we did that. And then that may even change how we're going to do our education or like training, continuing education. Maybe we're going to focus more on like footwork, foot-based like approaches for the body work, all this kind of stuff. But yeah, in terms of trends, the biggest like bullet point that I would say after saying so much that I've like said is that the event industry, or I guess the event experience, is very much surging in the wellness space. I didn't even get into like outdoor yoga, the cold plunge events. Basically, this idea of a morning cold plunge where there's going to be like a DJ, maybe some coffee. A lot of them are sober, um, but like we're talking like hundreds of, almost like 1,000 people sometimes gathered to do this thing. Um,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's like it's crazy and it's cool. You're like, whoa, it's a wild. We're at like a 10 out of 10 concert hype level, and it's 9:30 a.m. Saturday. Like, what's happening right now? Um, so it's a little bizarre. But that's been like a the biggest trend that I'm seeing, and it's a trend that like it affects marketing, but it affects, like I said, training. It affects hiring. It affects so much. And just knowing that, I mean, again, as a business owner, like it's like, why do I care? Other than, I mean, I do find these things fun. That's important. But why do I care? I'm way more likely, or a person is way more likely to get on my table or book a consistent massage or book a package if they've interacted with the brand in person, tangibly in some way. Um, yeah, I've got like lots of reasons as to why that is, or like things that support that. But like a small example of just how we capture leads. That's a big thing, obviously, when you're doing event-based marketing, is how are you capturing your leads? All that we were doing digitally originally. And that was fine, but our uptick was so much higher when we started texting people versus emailing them. That's one thing. Obviously, we could automate the texts, but like people seem to be more responsive when there's mistakes and when they're like basically when it's like a human, it's like clearly a human wrote this. Uh,
Mhm.
and they'll it's wild the things that people will type back, but they'll be like, oh yeah, it was so great to see y'all. They'll say things not even associated with the massage, or they'll say like, oh, that made me realize that I have low back pain and I need to come in for that. There's a gamut of what it'll be, but at least what I'm doing, Brave New Love is a bodywork practice. We are, and this gets a little wild when you come from like a healer background to talk so frankly as a business person, but like we are in the business of providing an experience. An experience is that the person is heard. And that does better like with like with a human doing this like thing than these like automatic things that we've like set up. Or at least I've found. And then why again that matters so much is that a person that just goes through this like cycle, this automated cycle, and maybe even buys a package and then comes in and sees me and gets some massages, but say like we never really created any type of actual connection, like I never found out that they like horseback riding or that they have two kids or that they know that I'm a runner. Um, then it's not a sticky, I hate that word, but that was like a marketing word that we would use in college. Like, it's not a sticky relationship, Like, they're like, cool, I'll go see another person. But if in those engagements they find out those things about each other, we find out these things, then, I mean, I've had a ton of clients that I met them at an event 3 years ago or 4 years ago, and I've seen them monthly since then. And from an amortized business person perspective, you're like, cool, that is a $4,000 like sell right there if we do this right or whatever. Um yeah, and that's like super important. So that was a lot of me
Cool.
talking.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Just
um, that's a trend.
I'm I mean, I asked. Um
Yeah.
what so based on that, or doesn't have to be based on that, but in your business, what's working well for you right now and what's been frustrating?
Hmm.
I mean, I
What's
guess you
working
kind of just
well? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, you kind of went over
um
what's working well. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like for sure the event based piece again, these like any way that we can jump in and create like a tangible experience, that's what's working really well. Um like writing handwritten, I don't write handwritten like notes to my clients, but like if I have a like say in an event based engagement, we'll write a handwritten note to our contract holder or the person that, that kind of thing. Um and sometimes I will say when we've done handwritten notes for certain people, they turn into like a package or a regular client so that they like, if you think about us, they like up level in terms of the value for us revenue wise. So that's another example of like basically totally could automate that. You could send an email, you could whatever, but like a handwritten, scribbled kind of like human thing has like seen a lot of value. So I'll say what things are not working well. Things that are not working well or like hadn't worked well that created this kind of shift for me in the same way that maybe you can think of like in the pandemic, I couldn't do hands-on anymore, so we had to shift. Honestly, like truly digital marketing did not do well for like me or my practice. Trying to get people on the studio or in the studio without having any interaction with them beforehand. Um, there's a lot of reasons why it wasn't working, and we don't necessarily even have to get into all of them, but that was the biggest thing. And then I had not a huge email listserv, but I had a decent email listserv that like wasn't really like the read rates were pretty high, but like the action rates were like pretty low. And it's like, well, what's that about? Um, so that was like a big piece of what wasn't working. Um, and that led to pretty much everything that I talked about with like the event-based stuff, shifting focus, trying to move from like, as a for instance, a digital-based lead for a massage client or a wellness-based person. They might have so many. Basically, we were going back and forth with questions, with scheduling, with this, with that, with the misunderstanding of what the service was, before we even got to an engagement where we were providing a service and being paid for the time. So that's all from like a business owner. That's all like sunk costs. Like all that engagement with this human, from like the auto chat feature on our website to like then when they started to try to like book something and like had to interface back and forth with me. Um, like all of that, we didn't get compensated for it anyway. And then the
Right.
client didn't even get on the table. Or they got on the table and we had to end the session because it wasn't what they needed or what they wanted. And that is like a whole other like bag of cats. So yeah, that's like my, I guess, biggest answers to both of those in terms of what's been going well and what hasn't been going well.
Okay. Yeah, no, yeah, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
What do you see yourself, or do you plan on keeping your business just you?
Yeah, for the future. So, well, I guess we'll see. Yes and no. I guess it depends on what you mean by just me. And I think in different seasons it'll look slightly different. But as a for instance, even in the fall, I am going to explore or hoping to bring on like an intern. So an actual title, there'll be a job description. We'll have like a start and an end. They'll have a rate or salary. Not salary, but like a part-time, amount that they get paid. Um, and that's like a step in this direction of kind of like formalizing some things. I've got another job description that I'm working on with a business like advisor that is in the realm of, it's kind of what I do, but it's like a portion of what I do, and that is trying to get more paid contract gigs for our event-based like crews. So we have these crews, they're working on the contracts that I have gotten for us, or we're doing promotional based, like event based marketing. So the idea with it is to capture leads, to create more opportunity. Um, but the idea would be to have another person who's getting the paid gigs for us, and so that we can execute on that. So that's like another example as a position. And then in the future, I mean, truly, I think this is like it's an ongoing debate, healthy debate between me and some of my business advisors. I'm very much in the camp of wanting to keep my therapist as a 1099 contract. I have advisors that want that to go into like the part-time world as well. So shifting that focus and having potentially other therapists that are working on what I call right now my book, but the Brave New Love book, um, might happen. I mean, like I said, in a seasonal solution, that is for sure going to happen in 26 because I'm planning to take a week, if not multi-month, like kind of like trip where I'm going to do some continuing education in Thailand. Um, and so I'll have like another therapist that can work on my book for anyone that wants to get a massage during that time from them, or they can just wait until I get back and then we'll work on them, that kind of thing. Um,
Right.
but yeah, that's the near term. In the longer term, like I said, with experiences, we're gonna produce hopefully an event series this fall. It'll be our first, and we're hopeful that that will turn into a somewhat regular occurrence where we're also producing events ourselves. And sky's the limit kind of on what that could look like. All Austin or like Texas based right now.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
What and I guess you kind of went over my next question a little bit there, but
Okay.
I guess so let's go more into a just a strictly business level.
Mm.
Um, where do you want to be in 12 months from now?
Yeah, 12 months from now. So quickly, I would love to have a like reoccurring, probably internship position that like cycles out. So at that point, might even be on our second intern, maybe third, depending on how that goes. I want us to be doing more events, producing more events in the Austin area. Like I said, we're hoping for 3 this year. So in the next year, probably another like 3 or so. So probably like 6 to 9 events. Um, like I said, the studio space, a part-time person working on it. And then my stretch in all this would be a somewhat consistent somatic coaching like offering that I do probably seasonally. That includes like a handout. There would be like deliverables that the person would receive if they're part of it. And they do like a 4-week program, or longer, depending on like 4 to 8 probably. Um, and then doing that regularly. Virtually, it's always the most accessible, sometimes less fun, and then ideally in person at some point.
I, I think that sounds like some great goals there.
Great goals, hey, you know what? We make plans and, the universe does what the universe wants to do.
Well, if you could solve one major problem or challenge in your business today, what would it be?
My immediate response is funds. I always want more money. That seems to be like a regular thing. And as the person that's wearing multiple hats, I'm sometimes like a super good employer, meaning I pay my people well. And then there's like this business part of me, owner, that's like, oh crap, like I don't have as much money around, like to
Uh,
further invest in the business or whatever, because whatever, paid everyone well. But again, I made that strategic decision because I want my people, the Brave New Love crew, to feel good about the experience. They want to come back. That's most important, because I think that energy emanates from those spaces. You can tell when you're at a restaurant and like the managers mean to the people in the kitchen or something. You can always feel that energy. Um, oh, sorry, I'm getting a call. Um, but yeah, were we talking about the call flipped my mind. Were we talking about something that I want to change? More money. That's
uh,
what I said. Yeah.
yeah.
More money.
That
Yeah.
was your biggest
That was
challenge.
my
Yep.
my biggest challenge. I always wanted more funds. Oh yeah, and like I said, we have some structures in place to try to get that in. It's just one of those things where like now that we're doing lines of like merchandise and like different stuff, it costs money, to do all those things. So yeah, that's probably like my biggest like thing. Um, but that's I feel like a pretty common thing for someone in the healing spaces. We're doing a lot of healing, that's for sure. I've got plenty of evidence that that's happening. So I feel good about that part. So that's good.
Well, it's like you said. I think it's common in a lot of um services, but
Mm,
I think it's because it's easy for people to get the two things mixed together, right? As far as like the service they're providing, and that they actually have a business with overhead, and one of the big reasons why we go into business is to turn a profit, right? Because if we're not turning a profit, we can't stay in business. Um, but yeah, I think I don't think people realize how challenging it is until they've done it or are doing it.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's not a owning a business, running a business, and having it succeed is not an easy task. So,
Yeah, most definitely.
but well, Lance, I really appreciate you coming on, and it was great meeting you. And
Yeah,
um,
thank you so much.
yeah, you're welcome. I appreciate your insight and your time, and yeah, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, for sure. In general, if folks want to find us, we are on social media at Brave New Love, at brave.new.love. And then they can find us at bravenewlove.com. If you're in Austin, obviously, you want sports massage or deep tissue, come find me. If you have event-based needs, corporate wellness in any capacity, you can reach out for a custom quote. And yeah, in general, I don't know. Find us if you want to, I guess, find folks that are centering or putting forth this idea of taking time to work inward so that we can work out and kind of like be our most authentic selves in our day-to-day life.
Perfect. Very well said.
Yeah,
So,
awesome. Thank you, Jared.
yeah, I appreciate it, Lance.
All righty. Have a good rest of your day.
Okay, you too. Thanks.
All righty, bye.